So how y'all doing today?
Okay,
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Was it better than last week?
About the same.
a little bit.
If you remember last week, we obviously went through our initial introductions. We kind of identified a couple of areas for growth together, and I kind of entered your world or your network a little bit more to better understand your family dynamics or your dynamics as a couple, and to better empathize with you, so we can really come up with some resolutions that resolve the issues or the complications you're experiencing right now. So the first thing I thought might be helpful today is, did you experience any problems or issues this week that you'd like to explore with me?
Uh, yeah, I guess issues for me is that I work very long days, and um, when I get home, there's really not a whole lot going on at home, so there's there's no excitement there, um, and I really don't get to see my kids. When I do see Kim, um, we just kind of argue about things, and I get blamed for being controlling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just say that the key for me is, and I think he just said it, is he works all day. So he doesn't consider what I do work. I'm at home all day long with two small kids. I'm have to take care of all of our household responsibilities. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm caring for kids, and then he comes home and I'm supposed to entertain him. And I don't get any recognition. And honestly, I'm getting to the point where it's difficult for me not to be resentful.
Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a time in your relationship where you all haven't felt that way?
Yeah,
Back in college,
when we first got married.
Mm-hmm. So, what was something back then, Kim, that Steve did that made you feel appreciated?
Well,
I was
Kim,
just say,
she asked me. I think that one of the things that, we just enjoyed doing the same things. And, back then I think he saw me more as an equal because I had a job outside of the house. And I was working in a kind of an administrative role and had people that reported to me. And so he respected me in that way, and we enjoyed our free time together. But now that I don't have that position any longer, he doesn't think what I do has much value.
And Steve, would you agree with, or what are your thoughts on Kim's feedback?
well, I agree that she is very consumed with the household and with the kids, and then going back to um, when we were doing things together. I remember we were hiking, we were spending time outside together. So there was a time that we were in sync.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I kind of get the idea that I feel that I'm being controlling of a lot of the things that going on. But really, what I'm doing is because we have limited income. I'm trying to preserve whatever resources we have, and I believe that that is where the controlling
Mm-hmm.
portion comes from our
With these
current
elements,
situation.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think that's um, a big point of our current situation.
Mm-hmm. So, with these elements in mind, can you think of like a specific fight or problem that you had this week? Like if you were telling the story to a friend and trying to give them an example of the dynamic that you all are talking about, what comes to mind?
I have one. So, I know what he's going to say, but I'm going to just tell my side of things. You know, he came home and announced that he was going to take his bonus money that he got and buy a new car. So there wasn't any discussion about that. I wasn't included in the decision. It was just as if he was talking to a child, you know, and when I brought it up, his response to me was, well, I make the money, so I'll make the decision. Now, and I just, you know, I didn't feel like his partner. I just felt like somebody that he had to take care of, and it was very demeaning.
Mhm. And Steve, from your perspective, do you remember the instance that she was talking about?
Yes, I do.
And how do you remember that?
Well, I recall it as a situation where that the money came to me, and I was kind of thinking that we needed a new vehicle. It wasn't necessarily going to be mine, but I think we needed a new vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So I was offering my bonus to be put forward to buying that vehicle.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you take a lot of pride in providing for and taking care of your family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Kim, would you agree with that? Do you think that Steve does a good job in providing and making sure your family has what they need?
I do, but you know, I'm supposed to be a partner in this relationship, not you know, another, you know, responsibility for him.
Mm-hmm. So when you say partner, what exactly does that look like for you? Or when you imagine couples as partnerships, what does that look like?
Well, you know, I think that that means that when there are big decisions to make regarding everything that has to do with your family, whether it's financial or with the kids or, you know, whatever is going to involve your life together, that the other person's opinion should be taken into consideration. They shouldn't be told like an employee.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the issue is kind of that you'd like to restructure how you guys communicate and talk through things together. And so that you feel included in providing and determining things for your family.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. And Steve, what do you think? How would that? Do you feel like that's what you're doing already, or how would you change your approach or the patterns of how you pursue these conversations?
I just thought I was doing something nice.
Mm-hmm. So, in doing something nice, do you appreciate, for example, someone asking you what you want for Christmas before they buy you a gift?
Yes.
Okay, so do you think in kind of creating a new channel of communication or conversation, you kind of talk together as partners to determine what the gifts for your family might be?
Yeah. It might have been an impulse thing. I really thought that I was doing a nice thing, but I do gather the fact that not involving her with the decision probably wasn't the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate that admission, you know, and I wish it was the only time that it happened, but I think, you know, that's one example of our communication issue. You know, maybe I just need to, you know, I've been thinking a lot about going back to work, and, you know, I've enjoyed being able to be home with my kids, but, you know, if we're just living, I wouldn't mind living paycheck to paycheck if it weren't for the fact that, you know, he always feels like that the financial decisions are his to make. So, where I get that, I appreciate the fact that he recognizes that about the car. It's just one example.
Mm-hmm. So in applying your strengths together as a partnership, we've identified that Steve takes a lot of pride and provides well for his family. What would you both say are Kim's strengths for the family and the dynamic?
I would say that Kim's strengths are, I think she's a wonderful mother. I think she takes care of the children very well. I think a lot of times we don't really have a lot of time to communicate or to do things together like we used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel that there's kind of a division between us, that we don't really get to do the things we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right. When he comes home from work, I'm exhausted. I mean, the girls wear me out. And so when he gets home, it's just like handing the torch.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really talk about our day, or we don't really,
Mm-hmm.
we're not really that concerned about, how the other spends their time at that point. I'm just tired. He's looking, for whatever, and I'm just not able to give it.
Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if we might not be willing to take advantage as an opportunity in this coming week to kind of reframe at least the pattern or the network that's going on and the kind of interactions you're talking about. Because it seems like there's kind of this reoccurring theme that you both are very aware of each other's strengths, very much appreciate each other, and you both are kind of craving the ability to be included in one another's life and spend time together. Do you think that I'm in the right ballpark when I say that?
I think so.
Okay, so what would you say if I had asked you this for the coming week before a next session? When the next time, Steve, you come home and Kim's exhausted, or Kim, you're frustrated with something Steve had purchased for everybody, rather than meeting that with animosity, challenge yourself to say one thing you appreciate before you share how you're feeling about the situation, about the other person. Do you think that's possible?
I can try.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, things kind of happen in the moment, but I understand what you're suggesting.
Mm-hmm. And Steve, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I kind of learned a lesson about not identifying a high cost purchase without talking to Kim about it. But I think if I was looking for something to happen next week, is it that, maybe there would be an opportunity for me to get out of work early and get home, and maybe I could take the kids to the park if it wasn't late, and maybe that would give Kim some time to just have some me time, I guess.
That would be awesome.
So let's restructure. Our goal next week is to do what Steve had just said, and you get to spend some time with the kids, and Kim, you get some time to yourself.
I would be very appreciative of that.
Okay. So let's try that, and we can talk more about that next week. Sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you both for seeing me today. And as always, if anything comes up before our next appointment, you have my number and you know how to reach me.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.